When you go to the park in the evening to play, you might have seen nests of commonly found birds like sparrows and pigeons, right? A pigeon lays eggs in the nest and sits on them to keep them warm. After some days, squabs will come out of the eggs. Can you identify the sex of a squab just by looking at it? Is it possible to look at an egg and predict the sex of an unborn squab? Of course not. So, what determines the sex of squabs? Like other genetic traits, the sex of an organism is also a genetic trait. Then, what is the mechanism of sex determination in birds such as pigeons? Do all the birds have the same mechanism of sex determination? What determines sex in other organisms such as flies? Let's find out the answers together. If we say that the sex determination is a genetic trait, it means that it is regulated by the genes that are present on the chromosomes. Let me ask you a question. Are genes that regulate the sex of an organism located on any particular chromosome or randomly present on any chromosomes? Well, the chromosomes on which the genes for determining the sex of an organism are present are called sex chromosomes. I have a doubt here. What is the name given to the chromosomes that do not have sex determining genes? Well, the answer is autosomes. So, all the chromosomes of an organism are categorized as sex chromosomes and autosomes. Autosomes can be called chromosomes other than sex chromosomes. Let us resume our discussion about the mechanism of sex determination. How do we know about the existence of sex chromosomes? In 1981, German biologist Hermann Henke observed the chromosomes in the nucleus of sperms and some wasps. He found that some sperms contained 11 chromosomes in nuclei, while the other had an additional structure. He also observed the stages of meiosis leading to the formation of sperms in wasps and found that the additional structure was different from all other chromosomes. So, he called the mysterious structure X-body but could not identify its significance and function. Further investigation by other scientists led to the identification of Henke's X-body as the chromosomes involved in sex determination. And this chromosomes was then called X chromosome. Here, you might ask a question. What is the significance of the X chromosome in sex determination in bats and other insects? Let's discuss the mechanism of sex determination in insects to find out the answer. Recall that a gamete is always a haploid cell and carries one complete set of autosomes and one copy of sex chromosome. So, if body cells of an organism are diploid and have chromosomes in pairs, each gamete would have one chromosome from each pair. In some insects such as grasshoppers, males produce two types of gametes. In addition to autosomes, some sperms of grasshopper have an X chromosome while the other have only autosomes and there are no sex chromosomes. Here, the letter A represents autosomes and the letter O means absence of X chromosomes. The production of different types of gametes for sex chromosomes by males make them heterogametic sex. On the other hand, female grasshoppers produce eggs with the same genetic composition. Each of these eggs has autosomes and one X chromosome. The production of uniform gametes that have the same type and number of sex chromosomes makes the female grasshopper with homogametic sex. Now, the fertilization of an egg with the sperm carrying X chromosome results in the formation of a zygote with two copies of X chromosomes. So, the zygote would develop into a female grasshopper. On the other hand, the fertilization of an egg with a sperm carrying no X chromosomes results in the formation of a zygote with a single X chromosome. The zygote would develop into a male grasshopper. So, do you observe the difference in total chromosome number between male and female grasshoppers? Female grasshoppers have an additional chromosome than their male counterparts, and this is called exotype of sex determination. Since males have a single copy of the X chromosomes besides the autosomes, while the females have two copies of X chromosomes and autosomes. You might ask a question here. Do all the insects show exotype of sex determination? The answer is no. So, what are the other types? So, let's find out. Drosophila exhibits XY type of sex determination. Here, females have a pair of X chromosome as the sex chromosome, while males have one X chromosome and one Y chromosome. Here, the total chromosome count for males and females is the same. So, a male Drosophila is heterogametic? Yes, since a male Drosophila would produce some sperms with the X chromosome and some with Y chromosome. Through all the sperms would have the same number of autosomes. They differ in the type of sex chromosome. Now that we have talked about the XO and XY type of sex determination in insects, let's talk about a unique mechanism found in birds. Birds such as hens exhibit ZW sex determination. Here, a male bird has two copies of Z chromosomes as sex chromosomes, while a female bird has a Z chromosome and a W chromosome as sex chromosomes. Here, both male and female birds have the same number of autosomes. Did you notice? The female bird is the heterogametic sex, as it would produce some X with Z chromosome and some with the W chromosome as sex chromosome in addition to the autosomes. Like the XY type of sex determination, the ZW type also confirms the presence of an identical count of total chromosome in both male and females. Here, the fertilization of an egg carrying an Z chromosome by a sperm would produce a zygote with Z sex chromosomes. It would then develop into a male bird, while the fertilization of an egg carrying a W chromosome by a sperm would produce zygote with ZW sex chromosomes. It would then develop into a female bird. Now that we have talked about some common mechanism of sex determination in insects and birds, so can you tell what determines the sex of squabs? The answer is ZW type of sex determination. Knowing the XO, XY and ZW type of sex determination, can you tell which one of these mechanisms is operative in humans? Do you think humans have some novel type of sex determination that is different from the one that we have discussed so far? Now, let us summarize the different types of sex determination in lower organisms.
Manorama Horizon. Learning made simple.